verses 1 through 15, if I can sum it up, says pretty much this. Here's some life lessons I want us to take from this. So the first thing is, what are we doing for God that causes the city to take notice and ask questions? Now, it may not be necessarily the city of Memphis in itself right now, but in other words, what are you doing for God that your own surrounding area, your say it again?
Sphere of influence.
Right, your group, your circle, your community, your neighborhood, your friends. Like, what are you doing for God that they take notice and they're asking questions? Because it should be something that creates what's the word? Interest. Notice that it creates this curiosity. That's the word I'm looking for. So this is where. So hopefully I do a lot of things to create self-inventory for each and every one of us. That we have to look at our lives and realize, hey man, I'm really, I'm not coming up to where I'm supposed to be in my own life. And everybody has their own measure of faith of what they're supposed to do and how they're supposed to go about living life. Am I pursuing that which God has called me to do? Am I living life on purpose? Because people who live life on purpose find purpose. Y'all got that? People who live life on purpose find purpose. They find out where they're supposed to be, as opposed to just living life live for us. That sounds good. We will also run the risk, when you do that, check this out, you will also run the risk of being mocked by those who do not understand. But when that happens, so even for people who mock you, and you run the risk when you're doing something for God. You should tell people are going to say things about you no matter what you do. So give them something to talk about and live for Christ. So when you do that, people who don't understand what you're doing, like, man, these folks must be drunk, whatever. So they didn't really understand, so they were mocking them. When we also run the risk of being mocked by those who do not understand, but it will give us an opportunity to testify. Listen, check this out. It will give us an opportunity to testify about what we know, what we've seen, and what we've heard of God. Now, check this out. Is that this is not just the Bible. When these guys were writing, they weren't writing, let's do the Bible. No, they were documenting events. Correct. They were. It's almost as if things that happen and you're documenting what's going on in this time and age that we're dealing with now. So they were documenting events. Even Luke. Remember in the beginning, Luke says in chapter 1, he says, "This is my second book, not my book, but this is my second thing that I'm documenting for you, Theophilus." And we learn in Luke, he says, "I did a thorough investigation or research to make sure that everything I'm telling you concerning your faith is accurate." In other words, fact check me. Like check behind and make sure that what I'm writing is really true. Because at this time, there are people still alive who can dismiss what his writing is saying. There are people who are still alive that can say, "Nah, bro, Luke lying. That's not true." So remember now, when we're reading the Bible, again, the Bible didn't come, that we know as the Bible, didn't come to around 300 years later. This was the New Testament, or the Bible in terms of Old and New put together. That didn't come until after, 200-300 years later. But these documentations that we call New Testament writing, the Gospels, this was done, as I can say, because of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Now it's like, oh snap! We got to tell, like, you know what I'm saying? Like when you first come and Jesus is like, "Bro, check this out, bro." 21st. He's like, "Bro, check this out. This is what I'm gonna do. This gonna happen. I'm gonna raise in 3 days." And you like, "Damn, that's what's up. Why we doing this thing?" You know what I'm saying? Woo, woo, woo. And then your partner take a beating like you have never seen before. That creates doubt because you're thinking, "Whoa, this was too bad. There is no way in the world he's coming back from this." Go ahead. So the guy gets so Christ is like terribly brutalized. It's just beyond recognition, and he resurrects, now everybody's like, oh snap! Did you see that? It came! Like, bro, we gotta tell somebody about this. And so here you have a group of men who at one point was like, yeah, this will right. We're gonna get it. And then all of a sudden the crucifixion happened. They're like, whoa! Like, there's no way coming back from that. So you have these men who are hiding out. And so Christ has to appear before all of these people to prove that his resurrection, that the resurrection was legitimate, to prove that he was the Son of God. And now you have this new thing that swings in a different direction for us as Christians. And so because of the resurrection, people they gotta hear about this. They gotta hear about this. So let's document the experiences of many people. Now remember now, there are other people who are writing too, who are giving this documentation. So there's enough information that they can say, hey man, listen, nah bro, this is not true. Even we take the gospel, and I'm going off, but even we take the gospel or the writings of the New Testament, like there's really no winning for it. Because if all of the documents of the gospel match word for word, then people say they copied one from another. Yeah. But if something's off, like he said, broom, and the other said stick, they're like, say, man, yeah, he said a stick and a broom. They're two different things. That's why. So, like, it really has no room for people who really don't want to accept it anyway. I was telling your mom yesterday, I was doing a video, you can't change a made-up mind. I don't care how much you can't force it. So the best thing to do is to give the information and allow them to do with what they want to do with it. Are y'all understand this?